months ago.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Super GamesCast 64. I am Trey Mitchell, and to my immediate front is Austin Guttery.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Trey?
I'm doing okay, man. Just sitting here, getting this podcast up and running. It's been a journey.
Yeah, it really has.
It really has.
We've had one very failed attempt, and then our most recent attempt was pseudo-failed.
And yeah, pseudo failed and told just to drop all that and just
let's just re-rack,
do something else.
Start over. Yep.
I am Trey Mitchell. I work at The Ticket. If you do not know me, I work at Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. I am the overnight board up. And to my immediate front is Austin Guttery. He works for Cash Soroy. You may know him as brother of Mike Soroy on the Blowout Podcast Network. It's his brother. And you, what do you do for Cash, man?
Well, first of all, let's go back a little.
Okay.
You used to work for The Ticket.
You did used to work for The Ticket.
Almost 2 years.
And you never got fired.
No,
but you don't work here anymore.
I haven't been scheduled in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But I was never let go.
No.
So, still waiting to hear from old Killer on that schedule.
They've moved you to the basement?
Yeah. So I have my weekends open.
Yeah.
Just
Got your stapler?
Yeah. Killing those roaches down there. Yeah, so I work with Cash and Mike and this handsome fella named Jason.
All right.
And at The Well Creative Productions, I get a little residual every time I do that. And over at The Well Creative Productions, we produce videos. That's
you produce videos.
Okay. That's the extent of what I know.
Yeah, you've helped me with I have a video game channel. It's video game movie an analysis, and also do skits, and it's just Trey. But you've helped me out a lot with that. You've been in a bunch of my skits.
I have.
So go check out Austin's stuff on the Well Production. Go check out my stuff on YouTube. Why we're here, though, is we are doing a movie or a video game review podcast, not a movie review podcast. That's TC's podcast, which, good segue, we are part of the Blowout Network. That's IJB, that's Dragon Brag, that's TC's movie podcast, that's Below the Belt. That's all the fun goodness you get. And now we got some video game cream in there. Yeah, the plan is to do, this isn't going to be exactly monthly, but we have a list of video game releases. It's going to be the biggest releases or things that, we consider important releases. And we're going to, probably a week after it's released, we're going to do a review. So a lot of the, bigger games, we may not actually finish them. We're going to try our best to finish. But, we got a lot of other stuff going on. And video games are long, and they're hard. And they're not that fun. So we're going to do our best to get some of the biggest games, play them, and review them. We also want to talk about sort of the, the video game, the context or stuff behind the video game. What the game means for the industry, what the game means for video game storytelling or any kind of aspect like that. So, yeah, it'll be fun. If you guys have any suggestions of games we should review or things we should talk about, let us know. We'll, plug our Twitters at the end. I bet everyone just kind of wants to get into it. Today we're going to be talking about the mobile game sensation Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Pokemon go to the polls, as Hillary Clinton said.
Oh my. How droll.
So I know everyone's sick about hearing about Pokemon Go at this point. It's been out for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
No. Week and a half. Came out the 7th. What is it, the 18th?
I think it's 2 weeks because I played it 2 weekends ago when I was in New Orleans for a little bit. Like, I wasn't playing it that much, but a lot of other people were.
We're closing in on 2 weeks.
I think it's over 2 weeks.
Fine.
No way we can find out at all. No way we can figure this out. But it's been huge, surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly. It's been a sensation. I mean, people are talking about it all the time. You go out anywhere and you see people playing it.
Dude, just walking up here to the station, I ran into, what was it, 11 when I came up here, and there was a family playing it. I walked around the corner. There were 2 or 3 kids playing. I walked around the up onto the plaza area, and there were people gathered around, and I was playing it too on the way over. There's 3 stops down there.
Exactly, yeah, me too.
Balls. And I think it's not surprising that it took off. I mean, the Pokemon name hasn't been, huge in years, but the whole idea behind the game, I mean, they're fun games, and it's a really entertaining and engaging concept that, even if the brand has kind of faded, the core mechanics behind it are always there, and it's always really engaging.
Let's start maybe at the beginning. What is your history with Pokemon?
I'm right in at the beginning. So when the first games came out in 98, I was in 3rd grade, maybe 2nd grade.
How old are you?
25.
So you're 3 years younger than me. So it was the same with me. It was that core demographic,
right?
10 years old, and 7 to 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Me and you were right in the middle of it, and the games were huge.
Yeah.
And it was like Disney, Nintendo is pretty much video game Disney, but
right.
Then Pokemon was an even bigger version of that, where there was the games, then there was the anime, and there was the card game. Did you ever play the card game at all?
I collected the cards, and I just recently learned how to actually play.
Oh, yeah?
And so I've been buying cards again, because they've come out with this 20th anniversary set called Generations. And,
wow. Is it all the original ones, or is it like the newer ones?
It's all the original ones, and a lot of them are like reprints.
Okay.
And so that's really cool. And so I've learned how to play that recently, and so I've been playing a little bit.
See, I was an idiot, and I threw all mine away or sold them all.
I found all mine. I had them in a box. I had them all in my closet, and I cleaned out my closet when I moved out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And took a few hours and organized all of them. Bought a binder, bought a bunch of little protector sheets in there, and so I have a few hundred in there ready to go. And so when I buy a new pack, I'll slip them in there.
That was sort of me too, and I played the card game a lot. I used to go to Barnes & Noble because they had these tournaments, and you get pins, and I think I got all the pins.
You know what? I went to a Borders and did that one time.
Yeah?
I got an EV pin, or I got a Boulder badge and an EV pin.
That was a highlight for me back in the day.
Yeah, so I started out with the games. I had red version when it first came out on my Game Boy, and then I got gold version, and then...
you played silver and gold? You went to Generation 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were really good. Like, as fun as the first generation is, and as, like, that'll always be my favorite. Like, gold and silver improved on so many things.
Yeah, that's what people say.
Red. Did you never play gold and silver?
Oh, I have a horrible memory. I have a very... my memory picks and chooses what to remember.
Yeah.
I want to say I didn't, but there could have been I knew about gold and silver.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about it. I remember hearing about it, and I swear I must have played them, but I just don't remember ever playing them. I don't remember ever owning them.
Okay.
But, I was very into the whole, like, Pokegods and Pokemon, myths like Peekaboo, so I knew about gold and silver, but I don't think I ever played the games.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They're what Red and Blue should have been.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to grasp the technology at that point and utilize the advanced technology in the Game Boy Color. Yeah. They had a small clock in there, and there was the day-night cycle and everything. It was really cool. And so I got into later middle school at that point, and it didn't fade out of consciousness for me, but I moved on to other games and stuff, but I continued, watching the show, getting the cards and everything. And then, so I didn't play Ruby and Sapphire, but come time for Diamond and Pearl, I played it a couple of years after it came out. I borrowed it from a friend and, got just back as much into it as I was before. And then, I was there for Black and White when it came out, and then X and Y, and, pretty psyched for Sun and Moon.
Last one I played was X and Y. That was the first I played since Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Really?
Yeah. There was a huge gap in time where I just didn't really play anything.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't research it. I was into like film, and I just kind of blew off video games altogether for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized how wrong I was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where I just didn't research anything, and then when I started to get back into it, I heard about X and Y coming out, and I'm like, yeah, what the hell? And I played it, and it was great.
Dude, it's by far the best Pokemon game ever. It's so good.
I enjoyed it. The story I didn't care for as much, and I think because I've researched a little bit. I know Black and White. That's the one that has the story about Pokemon, being mistreated, and is it right? Yeah, I think that's the most interesting story because that's what everyone jokes about when they play Pokemon. It's like, hey, shouldn't these creatures not be used for violence?
Yeah,
it's been in our conscience for a while.
Yeah,
but the mass population, if you listen to the ticket at all, definitely not.
Right.
Jake called it a relic of the 90s, which, to a lot of people who don't follow video games, it is.
Yeah.
Because it's something you remember in the 90s. And so it's very interesting that, I know this didn't come out of the blue. They had a trailer for it back in January because it was the whole Pokemon 20-year anniversary. They had a trailer for that. They had the trailer in the Super Bowl. But it kind of came out, honestly, it kind of came out in the blue in the way that I didn't realize that it was coming out already.
Yeah, neither did I. I figured it'd be end of the year next year, but in May they were just like, "Hey, this is coming out in like a month. Get ready."
It's crazy, and it's just I think there's just a whole lot of factors to it. I think it's smart that they use the original 151 Pokemon, because I think they could have gotten away with it if they used maybe Gold and Silver, but I think the farther you go down, the weirder it gets. You get Klefki and the ice cream dude.
Yeah, I think the Gold and Silver monsters are pretty.
And honestly, Gold and Silver, weren't they really like just like the monsters they couldn't put in Red and Blue?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like the Pokemon worldwide consciousness was still big when Gold and Silver came out, so they're just as beloved, and then it started to fade off around 2002 when Ruby and Sapphire were starting to get announced and coming out and everything. And so I wouldn't be surprised if in an update they, expand to the following 100.
Let's talk about the actual game. I think we've kind of talked about the minutia behind it. We should kind of talk about the actual game, then kind of go on to everything that's surrounding it. So the game is pretty much, for anyone who doesn't understand, because I know a lot of people just don't get it, and that's why they're so kind of put off by it.
Right.
I kind of have a description here. Pokemon Go uses Google Maps to overlay reality with Pokemon creatures. So pretty much it's a Google map. There's this whole, I know Niantic had a game come out a few years ago. I'm not sure what it's called. Ingress. And
same idea.
Yeah, they're using the same map for that. And which I think the whole development of this was kind of half-assed, where they have this whole grid, but a lot of the, because there's Pokestops where you can go to some place that has some kind of significance.
Right.
And you can get, Pokeballs and items and stuff like that.
Yeah, those were already chosen from
exactly.
Ingress. They just changed them.
And a lot of those stops are kind of in just sort of outdated places. They didn't really... It was sort of like, okay, we're just going to do this and we'll figure it out later, rather than, okay, maybe this place isn't very safe. Maybe this place is defunct and it's in a bad part of town. And there's a whole lot of issues also with people living in rural areas where there's really nothing around them. So I think the whole development was a little half-assed. I also think the overlay map is kind of half-assed as well. It's just sort of like a blue area. There's really nothing there. I think it could be a lot better as far as the presentation.
I don't know. I kind of like that. It gets you invested in the world around you. If it's too engaging on the screen, you're not going to look up, and because this game is supposed to mimic the core games in that you do the same thing. You run around the world and you catch Pokemon and battle them, and
that is very true.
So
you're supposed to kind of look at your surroundings.
Yeah, and that's the point of the vibration and the battery saver thing. You put your phone down and hold it in your hand and you explore, and then
which is the stories coming out about people running into cars and getting mugged is kind of funny because they've done a lot to prevent that. I'm doing quotes, because when I play it, I'll have the vibration on. I'll just have it in my hand and I'll be looking up. The sound is off. It's just the vibration. And when I do encounter a Pokemon, I'll stop where I am. If I'm on a sidewalk, I'll kind of move to the side. And I'll look. I don't even use the AR.
Oh, you don't?
No. I just it's easier to catch them if you don't.
Yeah, most people, In fact, I think I might be the only person I know who does use it. I think it's really cool, like, like to pretend.
I think it's cool when you're outside.
Yeah.
But when you're inside, it kind of breaks it.
Yeah, when there's a tiny growlithe on your dashboard.
Yeah, or if you're driving, because I remember driving back from New Orleans, you would catch like a Pokemon in the car while you're driving. It just, it's weird. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about, and I don't really even know where to start. I know we've kind of gone through a little bit of it, but so pretty much just to explain the game, what it is Pokemon appear randomly, kind of where you are, but they're also the types of Pokemon relate to sort of, if you're by the beach, then you'll get water Pokemon. If you're maybe in the desert, you'll get more sand types or rock types. If you're in the suburbs, you get a bunch of Pidgeys and Rattatats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in downtown, you'll find more Magnemite, Voltorb.
Yeah. Around here at the AAC, you get a lot of Doduas and get a lot of I get a lot of like Jigglypuffs around here for some reason.
I just caught my first Jigglypuff yesterday.
All right. So yeah, it just depends where you are. Also, the higher you get your level, the more rare Pokemon you'll be able to catch.
Right. Which
kind of mimics the game.
Yeah.
The further you go in the game, the more different kind of Pokemon you'll encounter.
Yeah.
The higher you get up, the more you encounter. People ask, what's the point of catching the Pokemon? It's just to catch them all. I wish, they'll probably implement a battle system pretty soon. I think that'll be huge.
Trading is coming out very soon.
I think because, the first few games were all about trading and battling your friends. And I think that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of interactivity in the game unless you are, going to gyms and battling in gyms. Even then, it's sort of it's a weird battle system. I still haven't really totally grasped the battle system at gyms.
Yeah. I've kind of gotten it. It's
a lot of dodging and hitting.
I didn't like it at first, but the more you think about it, it's a more realistic battle than the core games.
Right.
The core games are turn-based. And
it's RPG, yeah.
Yeah, this is an actual timed battle, and so...
Yeah.
They could make it a little more in-depth, but, otherwise, right now, it's kind of cool.
So I think we should maybe talk pros and cons, because, I think the game is good. I know a lot of people think it's bad. They think it's harmful. They think it's causing a lot of people to, be... run into things and not pay attention. It's that whole idea. And it's just Banner talked about this a lot, and they had a good episode about it. You should check it out.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that because we're on the podcast Blowout Network. It's a good episode, and I always like what they have to say about things because they definitely have a different perspective than I do. But they're talking about, it's that whole mentality of you're always on your phone all the time. And I do it. I'm guilty of it, and I shouldn't do it, and I think it's annoying when people are on their phones all the time. But now that's just adding to it. If you're everywhere, you got to get your phone out to catch Pokemon, and you're not interacting with anyone. You're not. You're just kind of in your own world with your phone.
I don't know. I've kind of found it to be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go out with my friends. We'll go out 5
Oh
or
yeah,
6
no,
people.
and I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely the good part about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about, I'm walking down the street and I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not looking at my surroundings, or I'm, at like New Orleans. Like we're in New Orleans, and some of the guys were kind of walking down the street, and everyone's kind of on their phone playing, which is great. But you're not. We're here to kind of see the sights. We're not looking around.
Right.
When I was in Universal Studios this last weekend, and I, was trying to stay off it because I kind of want to see everything around me. So, it just kind of adds to that whole. We're in a world now where we're stuck in our phones.
Right.
And I could see that. Also, the privacy aspect, the whole thing with Google, that they could check your whole email and everything. And,
I heard that was... You talking about the hacker thing?
No, I'm talking before that. There was, in the fine print, it said that Google has the right to look at your emails and all that.
Well, I signed up with a Trainer Club account because I already had one.
Okay.
So it's not connected to my
Okay,
Google
I
at
connected
all,
with my Google.
Okay.
So... That might just be a Google thing.
Probably. And most people I know didn't have a Trainer Club account.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed up with Google. So, but Google already has access to your email as it is because it's through typically their service.
But I think it just adds to the whole paranoia of hey, now everything you have is public.
Right.
or anyone can access it. But they kind of brought up about, VR and just this whole thing about your whole life is augmented reality. And I don't know if we'll go that far, because I think in the end of the day, when people play video games, they're going to play with a TV and a controller. I think these kind of games can only go so far in interactivity, because eventually the immersion's going to break. Unless we are totally unless it's like that movie Gamer where everyone is inserted in a matrix, where you're playing your game, which maybe we're getting to, virtual reality. Virtual reality is not the end all be all. A lot of people are saying that's the next, step in gaming. I think it's a humongous advancement in video gaming. I think that will change the way we play some games, but I don't think it's going to change the way we play every game or even most games, because at the end of the day, we all want to try to build that immersion up. But I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to play on a TV and a controller, because that is probably the best way to play. Because with VR, you get the motion sickness, you can't really move. It's hard to have good gameplay. And with augmented reality, you can only do so much with that. And with mobile games also, it's so big because, everyone has a smartphone at this point. Most everybody has a smartphone. And so your install base is already there. It's everybody. And you get this game and it's free, so everyone's going to play it. And it's free. You can buy, in-game currency, but for the most part, it's all free. And also, what I like about it is, what I think they're doing good is it's not, time-based. It's not a time limit. A lot of mobile games, it's like, oh, you can't play for another 3 hours unless you buy this, and this.
That's the worst. That is the absolute worst.
That's one of the reasons why I hate mobile games. Is
Same
because
here.
They do that. It's pure, I brought up George Gianni had a guy on talk about video game addiction, and I showed you the audio, and that's old audio. I don't want to go back to it, but he talks about video game addiction, and it's like, he was a little off base, but I mean, video game addiction is a real thing. But if you really want to talk about addiction, talk about mobile games. Those things are like crack. They're drugs, because they hook you in, and you can only play for so much. Oh, we're going to take this away from you for a while.
Right.
But unless you pay some money, that's drugs. You get your fix, and then you're taken away from it for a little while. Unless you pay some money, you can play again.
Yeah, there's a difference between a paywall like that, where they put that up, and then, something actually immersive.
Yeah.
Where, like, a mobile game will turn me off so quickly if they have an arbitrary, paywall like that, where it's like, we're just not gonna let you play until you pay. But if it's something, like, like with Hearthstone, you can pay for packs and stuff, but it's part of the game. They make their money through part of the game. You're shifting currency, you're getting rewards for paying. It's not like you're not paying to access the game itself.
You're paying for cosmetics. You're paying for, with Hearthstone, you're paying for better cards, which you would probably do if it was a real card game anyway.
Right, and it works in Pokemon Go. It's
because it's all walking
too.
based.
Right.
You got to walk, you got to move around, you got to go somewhere. And I think it's a little more. It's better than paying. Now you can pay for Pokeballs, you can pay for lures, which lure Pokemon to you. You can pay for all that, but you can also get that stuff in game if you go to Pokestops. So there's never anything. It's never pay to win.
I will say, though, this is the first game where I've been legitimately tempted to buy stuff. Like, I'll see something on the nearby thing.
Then you don't have any Pokeballs.
Yeah, and I don't have enough, or I need I'd like a lure module or something, or I'm running low on whatever. And I've seriously considered just like, well, that's $1.50.
$1.50, it's, it's $10.
And see, that's good. That means that their, quote, I don't want to call it a paywall, but their payment system is working because I'm.
You could just go somewhere and get them, but hey, that might, it would be kind of worth it to buy something.
I'm immersed and ingrained within the game world to where I feel like I'm still playing when I'm paying.
Yeah. So I guess what level are you right now?
14.
Okay, I'm 15, so I'm about where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I do tend to find myself, just picking it up and looking around, seeing if there's anything nearby.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a kind of a big walk the other day where I was kind of did my whole, if I ever kind of walk around, do like a 2-mile walk around, not my neighborhood, but where I live. And I kind of want to do that tomorrow, just do this big long walk and see if I can't catch anything. And it's good for that. And it's good for, I know in Denton there's huge meetups.
Oh, yeah.
People are going there and meeting up. And it's good for, interaction. Some people like to talk about how video games they hurt your social interactivity. They hurt, your being social with human beings, which I find that sort of, especially nowadays, that's sort of not a correct statement. I mean, it can, but so can watching TV all day, so can reading books all day, so can watching sports. You watch your sports team all day and you only focus on that team, or fantasy football. Anything can be like that, not just video games. I think people like to pick on video games though because you're in another world, quote unquote. You're in a fictional universe, but you watch a movie, you're in a fictional universe.
Yeah.
I don't know why video games are kind of subject to it. I think it's the time commitment to with games. I think because they're so long. Mm-hmm. And there's so much replay value in games that you tend to, you watch a movie for 2 hours. You can play a video game for 10 hours.
Yeah, but no one gives anyone shit for,
binge watching. Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, I just binge watch, 5 seasons of this show, and that's acceptable.
Yeah,
but
I didn't come out of my house for 4 days.
Yeah.
And then, how'd you like it? Oh, was it good? But then hey, I played StarCraft for 4 days straight. And
it's like, what's wrong with you?
I think it's just a carryover from the 80s when.
Yeah. And you hear people at the station, and their only point of reference is video games from the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, when they hear video games, they think Galaga and Atari and everything. And, once
Ty Walker will tweet a picture of Pitfall.
Yeah.
That's his only point of reference to it. Not to insult it, that's fine. It's not, I don't want to be elitist guy. That's what they grew up with. That's what they knew. That's fine. But, they've come so far from that.
It's the same thing people in the 50s were saying about TV, and then now look, it's
maturing.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying Pokemon Go at all is a game where it's you're getting a experience like you would from a movie or TV show, but I think the social interactivity is very high because. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people playing it, and it encourages you to go outside and meet people and interact with people.
Walk off a cliff.
Exactly, walk off a cliff. And I think that's a very positive thing. So I think all the communities that have surrounded this game and, people going out and meeting people have actually been kind of pretty positive because it's getting people out of the house, it's getting people to interact with other people. It's, doing a very social thing.
I mean, as far as games go, I think Pokemon is a little more social than others. They're just single-player story games. But yeah, it is getting people out and interacting, because I know, whenever my friends and I get together, that's the last week or so, that's something we've done almost every single time. We'll go out with 5 or 6 people, and we'll end up going on a nice walk and going to a place, we normally wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
We're drawn to certain places with a lot of stops or whatever, and I think it's really cool. That stuff we would have already done in the first place, but now we have something fun to do along with it. And it's not like everyone goes there and then just sits on their phone silently to themselves. We're walking around, we're calling people over, like, hey, there's something over here, or hey, what'd you get? And then helping each other out and stuff. And it's
it's that extra little thing that kind of makes it more interesting. It's a pretty cool game. Like when I was in New Orleans, it was the same thing. It's like we would all be like, oh yeah, hey, we found an Abra over here. Let's go over there and get the Abra. And you talk about, what Pokemon you got. And I think the people that are running into cars and jumping off cliffs and getting shot at by people who are just idiots. I think it's so popular that a lot of people are playing it. So many people are playing it that you're going to get the idiots that don't have common sense.
Well, and just before I came over here, I was walking around with my roommate, and he made a good point about there's all these blown up news stories about, a guy was playing Pokemon Go and he got shot, and he was like, it's has nothing to do with the game. The problem is someone went and shot this guy.
Yeah.
It's like he was walking around and got shot, not he was playing Pokemon Go and got shot.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy shot him because he was playing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not the game's fault. And I think the hatred for this comes from, it's not Pokemon, although sort of, because you get people who are like, I'm 25 years old. I don't need to play Pokemon.
I'm going to go to work.
I'm an adult. I'm going to drink my beer and go be an adult somewhere.
I got taxes to do.
Go do my taxes. That's fun. Doing taxes. Yeah, I think it comes from, first of all, it's very popular because it's a mobile game. It's free. It's, Mino says it's all nostalgia. I disagree with that, even though that is a big part of it, because so many young people are playing it who don't know what Pokemon is.
Yeah.
It's the new thing. It's the new mobile game. We're so connected that everyone needs to do this. Everyone needs to play it. We all hear about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, people are playing it. And also, I think it's because people are outdoors playing it. People are in view playing it.
Right.
If it was just like, if it's, I'll tease the maybe next episode, unless we do Batman, if it's No Man's Sky and that blows up, no one's going to know because everyone's going to be at home playing it.
Yeah.
But Pokemon Go,
it's just visible.
Exactly. It's visible, so you see people doing it.
It's interactive.
Yeah.
People getting in people's way. The people who aren't playing it I'm sure are annoyed by people getting in their way.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just annoying. And if you don't understand it, and you think it's, if you don't play games and you just don't understand it, it's annoying. And you hear about it all the time. Your whole Facebook feed, your whole Twitter feed, your whole social media feed. Social media. Everything's filled up with it, and it's annoying. And you hear about something for too long, it gets annoying. I'm annoyed by it.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed saying all this stuff about it. It's annoying.
I'm not quite to that point yet because I still
like it, but every single thing is Pokemon Go, and everyone's, all the outlets are trying to take advantage of it, and that's a little annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You hear, Hillary Clinton say we need to Pokemon Go to the polls. It's a little annoying.
Fuck that.
So it's inevitable. Anything that gets this popular is going to be hated because it's that popular. And
it's just what happens when something's popular. Those people come out of the woodwork, and there's always going to be the contingency of people who don't like it solely for the reason that other people like it, which whatever happens with everything. And as long as they're not doing anything to interfere with the people who do like it.
Yeah. I think there's some just hate in people. It goes with the territory.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of going into another aspect of this. On Tuesday, Nintendo shares finished 40% higher, meaning they've doubled their value since the launch of Pokemon Go on the 6th of July. They've broken their record. Their stock hasn't been this high since the Famicom.
In, what was that, 84?
Yeah, I want to say 84. It's humongous for Nintendo right now.
It's good.
And they're, they have not been doing too well. The Wii U has been a dud. The 3DS is kind of, seeing its twilight years.
Yeah.
I still like the 3DS, but it's kind of past its prime.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing too well. The NX is sort of an enigma. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's going to be. And they get this. I don't know if they thought this was going to be such a hit.
Yeah, I was surprised by it.
Yeah.
And it's huge, and I don't think Niantic was expecting it either, and that's why the servers were so jammed up.
I don't think they knew. Nintendo's kind of behind the times anyway. I don't think they understood this was going to be so big.
Yeah,
and it's been. I think they've made a few $1 million already on this game just through purchases.
Yeah,
and it's done great for them. And I mean, they got the new Zelda coming out soon. They got the NX.
Well, I think the timing's perfect on this because they have a new core Pokemon game coming out in. What,
do you think any more people are going to play it than they already were? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it'll.
Like, do you think people are playing Pokemon Go right now and they're like, you know what? I like this Pokemon. Oh, there's a new game coming out? I don't know, man. I don't know if a lot of people are really doing that.
Well, I don't think that they're thinking it right now, but I think once the novelty of this wears off in a couple of months and people have gotten familiar with the brand who weren't before, and they're like, oh, I really like Pokemon. And then they see, oh, November, there's another game coming out. Like, that sounds pretty dope.
Yeah, I could see that maybe. It's not going to be as big because the install base, but
no,
I could see that.
Not.
But it begs the question now, should Nintendo go third party? I'm not saying go mobile because that's the worst thing. And now they are going mobile. I mean, they're coming up with new mobile games, which is very smart. But man, the mass appeal of this and the new Nintendo, the new NES Classic box coming out. It says here November 11th for $60. It's the NES Classic Edition console, which is a little weird because they've always had, the Wii U, and the NX is probably going to have a store with all these games on it. It's interesting they're doing this. I think it's a good idea too because it rubs that nostalgia. I was listening Yahoo Sports Radio, the overnight show, that syndicated show.
Which one?
It's Tony D.
Oh,
yeah. But one of the guys I think he's our age, he's the producer, and he was talking about this NES console and how he's going to buy it. And the guy's not a gamer, he doesn't play video games, but before, people who grew up with these games, it's huge for them, and they don't have to buy a big, they don't have to buy a new console and download all these games to play. They just buy this, and I mean, it comes with it comes with a lot of third party too, like Castlevania and Mega Man, and it's huge. It's a really cool deal. It's very small. You play your old games.
Yeah, it's real plug and play. You just throw it on the TV and.
So Nintendo's gonna be popular. The games are popular. It's just, their marketing and the consoles. Their consoles are what is deterring people from actually buying their games.
Yeah.
And I hope the NX does well, but part of me hopes it doesn't. So maybe they could go third party because obviously that's what they need to do because people love their games.
Right.
People love Pokemon. People love Mario. People love Zelda. That line to play Zelda at E3 was the largest it's been since the Wii.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's evident that's what they need to do because the Wii was an anomaly. It's ever since the NES came down, their console sales have gone down. Every single generation, they've gone down. Except for the Wii. That was the anomaly. And now, they think it's... And honestly, and that towards the end of its life cycle went down because, Mama and Grandpa and Grandma bought a Wii, but they didn't buy Super Mario Galaxy. They didn't buy Zelda. They didn't buy Donkey Kong, Country. They didn't buy any of those games. They're buying it for Wii Fit so they could play that for a month and then forget about it. Which, it's sort of like the mobile game. It's sort of like mobile games. It's the novelty of it. It's very novel, which is, this game's going to be novel. And it's going to go away in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with the Wii U. And that's anytime you do a thing like that, it'll go away. Now, VR is different because I think there's a lot of uses for VR. I think VR is, a different experience. It's not a gimmick. It can be a gimmick, but I think if used right, it's not a gimmick. Motion controls are a gimmick.
Yeah.
So I think, I want to know what you think. Will this maybe wake Nintendo? I guess it's too late for them to, cancel the NX, but will this maybe wake them up and be like, hey, maybe if the NX fails, we should go third party?
Well, back to your point, if Nintendo can make a successful console, why shouldn't they?
Right. Right.
I don't think they should be as hasty as to just completely cut half of their R&D and, half of their not their company, but, half of what they do. Console sales have been going down just all around.
No, not true. The PlayStation 4 is, en route to surpass the PS2, which is the highest selling console of all time. Console sales have gone up.
I feel like the peak of home console game playing was 2007. I feel like the fervor for it really died off after that. And, they may have numbers to back it up, but I don't think the social... It's not really a part of the social lexicon anymore. It's not as pervasive as it was, mid-2000s. That was the thing. in the mid 2000s was, you know, your console. Everyone had one. Everyone was on a team. And nowadays, people get them and, you know, they play them and they enjoy them, but it's not really a part of people's lives so much anymore.
I think it's more entertainment. They're more entertainment systems now.
Yeah.
You know, than video game systems. I kind of see where you're going with that. If you were going that direction, you know, the PS4 is you can go to watch Amazon videos. You can watch Netflix. You can, you know, do a lot of different things. You can listen to music. They got Spotify. They got you know, iHeartRadio on there.
Can you get the Blowout Podcast Network on there?
Maybe you can. Let's see. I know you can get IGN stuff on there. IGN podcast. Listen to you know, that on there. So yeah, it's become entertainment systems, and people buy them for entertainment systems. You know, I think the way to go now is, you know, PC gaming. Honestly, is the way to play video games. But the consoles have been selling, maybe not for the games, but maybe for the entertainment value. But I mean, the number, I think it's still relevant. I don't think that we're gonna see an end of console games anytime soon.
No.
I think they might turn into sort of PCs where they update every few years and you get a new one and then you get a new one. But I don't think they're going away.
Well,
I don't think it's all going mobile either, which some people thought. Which, if video games go mobile, if it's only mobile games, I'm not playing video games anymore. It's it.
I don't think it can. I mean, there's limited capabilities, and it's more for. I mean, that's like doing a crossword. Yeah, you know,
it's junk food. Yeah.
Crosswords are great. Crosswords are fun, but there's only so much you can do with it. Yeah, and I think that's where it should be. You know, it's the dessert of entertainment. Yeah, mobile gaming. It's just a little thing on the side.
It's like Pokemon Go. It's fun. But I think the novelty of it will probably wear off in a bit. Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, if they put enough details in there, like if they put battling and trading and
if they have consistent updates to keep people engaged.
And if they can have it so that you can change your avatar because everyone looks so goddamn the same. Yeah. And if they, you know, ways you can interact more, if you could see, you know, different Pokemon trainers in the world. Yeah. If you can maybe, you know, stuff like that, make it more interactive, which who knows if Nintendo wants to do that. Yeah. You know, they only got into online gaming in 2006, right? They're very behind the times.
Actually, no, I had Phantasy Star.
I remember Phantasy Star Online for GameCube.
You had to hook up this modem to the bottom.
The bottom of the game, you had to hook up the modem. I was so excited about that. Yeah. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, who knows what Nintendo's going to do. Hopefully they're smart and they realize that this is a huge deal and they need to keep people on it. But yeah, you know, it's like anything, it'll fall off. I think people are worried that this is going to be the future of gaming, you know, with the augmented reality. It's not. It's a gimmick. It's fun. It's very fun. I'm enjoying, you know, playing with it. Yeah. It's fun, but it's not the future.
Yeah. I think Nintendo doesn't need to kill their console sales or their console focus. I think they just need to change their focus to keep doing what they do in Playboy on their software and their IP, because that's where
it's at.
That's where their gold is, and they do that better than anyone else.
Yeah. And people are like, oh no, they'll turn to Sega. Well, the difference with Sega is they had one half-assed franchise. And Nintendo is Disney. It's the Disney of video games. They have all these very recognizable characters.
Lovable, memorable.
And the games are amazing. The games are fun. They're relevant still. Yeah. You know, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah. They're okay.
They've survived for 140 years. They know what to do.
That's the crazy thing, is they've been around for 140 years.
Yeah. They did hotels. Yeah. Cards.
When's an amusement park coming out? I heard that they're going to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cool. A long time ago I heard that, but that'd be cool.
One day.
Well, that's episode 1 of the...
What are we calling it?
The Super GamesCast 64. I hope we had a good conversation. It seemed a little everywhere. I think there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah. And please, if you think of a better name... Let us know.
Please let us know.
We had a few ideas and they were struck down.
They're struck down by our overlords at the Blowout Network.
One of them was great, but it was
amazing.
It was
the best.
It was
name.
struck down so hard.
We'll use that sometime, someday.
Yeah, one day.
Someday. So yeah, that's all for the podcast. Please let us know what you think. If you have any feedback, my name is Trey Mitchell. You can find me at CrayTreyVids on Twitter.
You got a new?
I took the 1310 out and put the vids in.
Oh,
just
you can change your handle.
Yeah, change your handle if it's not taken. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is Austin Guttery. What's yours?
I'm at Helen Smeller.
Mm-hmm. Because you hate Helen Keller so much.
Yeah, she's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, being all blind and stuff.
I don't even know what she did.
I don't even know either. So yeah, the plan is to anytime a new game comes out, we will do a review of it. This podcast will be out sporadically. There really is no schedule. You know, it might be once a month. It might be no times a month. In October, it might be a few times a month.
Yeah, we got a lot coming in October.
So much stuff coming. I'm planning for the next episode to be No Man's Sky, unless we want to do Telltale Batman. So we'll discuss that. Expect any big release, except for I probably not going to do any sports games, just because I think that's really hard to review. They're kind of all the same thing every year.
They're fun, and
they're great. It's not, something we really do and talk about. I don't really play many sports games because I'm terrible at them. So
just like real life.
Exactly. That's why we're in sports radio, or at least I am.
Right.
I'm not really even in sports radio. I'm just an overnight board up. I'm never going to have my own show. Anyway, on that sad note, I'm Trey Mitchell. Please I guess you can't like, comment, subscribe, but please just tell us what you think. Please subscribe to the Blowout Network. Listen to the other shows.
What are those other shows again?
You got IJB, it's just banner. You got Drag and Brag.
Below the Belt.
TC's movie podcast, Below the Belt. You got some Rangers podcast. I know they do.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. I think they got another one somewhere in there.
We'll find it.
We'll figure it out. I know they have an app coming out soon.
Really?
Which is pretty awesome. Yeah,
cool.
I'm in their beta test for the app.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't really told them anything, though.
Oh,
I just have it.
I bet their listener will be excited.
All right. So anyway, thank you for listening. Let us know what you think. And with that,
good night.
Good night.